I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die historic on the Fury Road.
Been a little while since we've done an episode of Driven to Think. I've been a bit under the weather. Caught that one of the versions of the flus or colds or COVIDs or whatever it is that's going around. I was able to escape it, but either picked it up from a client or at the racetrack the other weekend when I went to see the 2 Litre guys. But it is what it is. So if I do a bit of a cough and whatnot, and my voice sounds a bit croaky or anything like that, that's why. So 2 Litre. Let's start with 2 Litre sports sedans. Their fields are growing. They are doing a great job. I don't think I have anything negative to say or to add to 2 Litre sports sedans except go you good things. They are known as Sport Compact now, presented by 2 Litre sports sedans. So they've done something which I suppose has made some people unhappy, but I think it was the right way to go. They've expanded their rules. Now, I'm not going to be able to explain all of them to you, but basically, if you go on their website, if you go to Facebook 2 Litre sports sedans or compact sports cars, I think it's called, or something, I'm sorry, but it's something like that. And they've allowed, because of modern cars are built a bit differently these days with engines, they've allowed up to 2 litre turbocharge. So a 2 litre maximum engine capacity plus a turbocharger, and then I think you run either like a 35 or a 36 mil restrictor. There's some rules to do with that, and they've upped the minimum weight for that with driving to 1200 kilograms to even it out with normal 2 litre cars. So I think that's very smart. And obviously they can adjust it if they find that the 2 litre turbo cars are winning everything. They'll probably give them more restriction or a bit more weight, and just to even it up. And I think that's a good thing for 2 litre sports sedans or compact sports, because and this is no dig at them, this is not a negative, they're more an entry level of sports sedans. Now I say that with lots of respect, because the cars are still very bespoke, if that's the right word. They are very unique. Some are amazingly built. Some are quite standard, and I think that's great. I think that's something that you need to keep in car racing at this level, is an entry level in. So they've also upped their capacity for naturally aspirated to 2.5 litres. And that is in line with what is happening with modern cars. Sorry, I may need to cut that out. Something was going on with my trailer. So 2 litre sports sedans at Calder Raceway were great. Some good battles. The driving standards I thought were quite good, and that will make more sense as we go on with this episode, driving standards. But yeah, I think that they've got a DSO, and they've got an active committee talking to competitors and just saying, hey, look, we're here to race. There's no doubt about it. We understand you guys want to go door to door. That's what racing's about. This is not just driving around to the shops, but let's not smash into each other unnecessarily. Let's not be ridiculous in our moves. Let's make sure that our talent matches our enthusiasm or something like that. So overall, there was some contact out there, but that's bound to happen. It looked like just, people getting loose, trying to brake a bit late and sliding, and another car unfortunately collects them and stuff like that. But nothing, I didn't personally see anything ridiculous out there. I didn't see anything just stupid, blatant fucking ridiculousness. So 2 Litre sports sedans, go you good things. Driving standards, can I touch on that? So I just watched Trans Am 2 at Hidden Valley, is it? With the supercars. Look, I want to start by saying I really like Trans Am 2 cars. I liked Trans Am 2 cars before they ever came to Australia. I was one of many that liked them, and hence why they've come over here, because people like them so much. And there was some very clever people, I think, in Queensland that brought them over, and fucking fantastic. Trans Am 2, I love Trans Am 1, obviously, as everyone knows, but Trans Am 2 is like a bit more of a one-make series, I suppose. Still, you know, they plug on about how cheap it is to run them, and I suppose compared to a supercar, they are fucking cheap. But the way that they crash and bash and fucking just get stuck into each other, I can't see that being a cheap way to race. So I do believe they have a DSO. You'd fucking be mistaken for thinking that they don't, you know, because it's fucking terrible. The driving, and again, I sound like I'm being really horrible to them, but some of the drivers are fantastic drivers, don't get me wrong. I think you're just putting people into a position where they can drive like Muppets. And so what happens, and I get it, I'm a guy, I have blood pumping through my veins, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. You go out there and you're racing in your fucking race car, and some fuckhead, some other bloke, might be your mate off the track, but he's a dickhead on the track. So I think he's a dickhead full stop, but we're all friends with dickheads. Runs into you and starts pushing you around, you get a bit hot under the collar because you're a male with anger issues or whatever, and you start pushing back, and that concertina's through the field, it builds over time, and then you get the racing that we did at the round on the weekend, where they're just fucking blatantly destroying each other and going for moves that don't exist, moving under brakes, just desperate shit. And for a class that's meant to be, I don't want to say entry level, because it's not entry level. For a class that's meant to be cost effective, we can laugh about that, because their entries are like, fuck, the entries I saw for doing just the high-tech series for Trans Am was like $2.5, $3 or something, just entries. Then you got your 6 new tyres. Most of them have crews. You could definitely run one of those cars by yourself. I've had a good look at them, and I would say they're easier to run than like a Libra. I'm not saying they're shit or anything like that, but it's a fairly basic setup. All you're really doing is camber and caster and maybe some gear, but you know, you're not doing that all weekend. I suppose you are if you're trying to be competitive, but you're meant to be doing that in sports events, and I don't fucking touch any of that. But look, it's a class that should not be brutal, fucking just taking people out. I think there is a very big difference between good, hard racing, which makes me think of the good old boys, American style racing, which I suppose, you know, Trans Am 2 is American race cars brought over here for an American style race series. Run those fucking Hoosiers that move around. It makes it very exciting to drive and to watch. The tyres go off. The guys have to really battle those cars. But it's not like when they're actually racing and they settle down, it is good hard racing. Mate, fucking love it, it's enjoyable. But the rest of the time, it's just fucking either someone who's wealthy with lots of money and a big ego and a PP that doesn't satisfy them in what they think they should have, or whatever. I don't fucking know. Or there's some young guy who fucking is trying to make a mark and try to go up to supercars or something. And then you got everything in between, I suppose. And it just sort of, I think it can work, but I personally think the DSO, whoever that is, maybe they are one of the best DSOs in the world, and they're trying their hardest. I'm not saying they're not, but something's fucking going on, and something, you know, I've heard people talk, when Garland was talking about coming into the series, he was told, prepare to put panels on your car. So they basically said, we're going to fucking run into each other, all right? That's how we race. You don't like it, fuck off. And I suppose if that's what they're saying, and you're racing in it, fucking fair enough. And I suppose it makes me think of, I was talking to Trav the other day, because I was been a bit peeved about driving standards in sports sedans and things like that. And I sort of got to the point where I said to him, mate, maybe it's me. You know, maybe most people who are on a racetrack think they are out in centre and only listen to one of his quotes about going for a gap if you're not a race driver, and Rubbin's racing. They've watched Days of Thunder, which is one of my favourite movies, and all this shit, and they've taken it to heart, and they're just fucking jackasses on the racetrack. They're fucking they go, I don't know, it's if they don't win or do well or pass people, maybe they go cry in a shower afterwards. I don't fucking know, but they basically become flogs on the track, and I find that's the majority. And if you're offended by that, well, pull your fucking head in, because you're probably driving like a flog at our level, you know what I mean? Like, I think supercars is different. Saying that, they should know better. They made some fuck ups on the weekend, but in saying that, an engine blew up and it checked them all up, but mostly they were right. But what I'm trying to say is, I probably have to decide whether I want to, like, I suppose if I had the money to buy a TA2 car, would I race it? Part of me would like to, but the other part of me would be like, Ran, that class is going to piss you off so much. Like, it's going to upset you, because cunts are going to run into you, and you're going to be like wanting fucking blue in the pits, and it's not the place for you to race. So, like, if I had the money, would I do it? Probably still not, because I just don't want to tear up a car constantly. It's not my vibe. I think I'd go pick something else. So yeah, I was disappointed. Obviously, I was watching for Blake Tracy. Blake Tracy's a rad kid from Albury Wodonga. I don't want to say Albury or Wodonga, it's one of the two. That area. His dad is a rad guy. They're pretty good guys up there. They're pretty Aussie, but honest and good hard racers. Corey Gillett as well. There's a bunch of them, Matt Sims. There must be something in the water up there. They don't mind putting the right foot down and getting some throttle. So good on them. I was disappointed for him though, because I think he has got speed. I think he's a little bit of a talent. I don't know how much of a talent, but he's definitely got some talent. And he's obviously got a good family and friends behind him, and really applaud that. But, you know, his races were fucked, and really through no fault of his own, from what I can tell. I think he said in the last one he went for a move, but I think the other guy lost it or something, I don't know. I think he basically got smashed into every single race, and his car got fucked up. And I'd hate to know what that's cost them. You know, they're not millionaires, I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? They've sold other race cars to fund the racing. That may not be the case, don't quote me on that. But I think, you know, they've had to find the money. It's not just sitting there in a fucking big, you know, vat of money that he just picks at when he feels like it. They're not those kind of people. They've worked hard for their dollar, as I'm sure most people have to a degree. But anyway, yeah. Driving standards. They just need it. Porsche used to be the cunts, but Porsche have somehow been surpassed by Trans Am 2, so yeah, not ideal. What else? Maybe we leave it there. I've gone for 12 minutes, and that's probably long enough, isn't it? So I hope you're all well. I'll try and get some more of these up. If you've made it this far, you're fucking impressive. I'd be curious to hear what everyone thinks about driving standards in Australian motorsport. I personally think it's fucking a bit in the gutter. You know, fix their driving standards, because I want to be more about positives than negatives, is Super TT. I think I've rambled on about them a little bit. Fucking doing a great job. Good promotion. I don't think they've got a limitless budget. They've probably got a limited budget to do it, but they're doing it well. They're trying to offer their competitors value for money. Not always the thing I worry about with value for money for laps and shit, but they're doing a really, really good job at building an interest in the class. So much so that I am currently driving on the fucking Western Ring Road towards the Westgate Bridge, one of the cuntiest fucking roads in fucking Melbourne, to go pick up the 350Z twin turbo, because I would like to run with TT next year. Can't afford it at the moment. I'm broke cunt, but lots of us are broke cunts. You know, Sydney was 50% down on their entries, so you know, on the weekend, which was sad to see. But you know, good on the guys that got out there. I know people like Chris Jackson, as he said, he was on tyres that were over 3 meetings old. You know, he's running on the smell of an oily rag, that guy. So him and Brock and the boys, good on them. What was I fucking saying? So yeah, anyway, TT, it's attractive, and it's pulling some people from sports sedans who are in floor pan cars across to it. I'm gonna, you know, my Calibre is for sale, but I've just painted it pink. It looks fucking sick. I love it. Happy to keep it forever if I can. I really like that car. It's super cool. Even if I get to drive it once a year, and the rest of the time I drive the Z. So yeah, just trying to catch up on things. Money's tight, as everyone knows. But anyway, Super TT have cleaned up their driving. They had a guy in it. I don't want to name his name, because I know people probably know who I'm talking about if they know anything about Super TT. He hasn't been in it. Last time he was in it, he fucking crashed again, the poor prick. Don't wish anything bad upon anyone, even people that I think are kind of flogs. I still want them to live and breathe and be happy. But yeah, look, and if he comes back, I hope they're able to keep him in check. But they've definitely been able to they've seemed to be able to get on top of the bad driving. So whoever's DSOing that and ever creating that atmosphere, I spoke to Corey the other day. He said they're really trying to make a really good pit atmosphere where everyone helps each other and a really positive thing. So I suppose if you're all happy in the pits and helping each other, you would think you're going to be less likely to get run into, or you're going to be less likely to run into someone. You're like, oh, that guy just lent me fucking some tools, or fucking welded up my cross member, or did whatever. You're probably a little bit less likely to run into the guy, aren't you? So anyway, thanks for listening. Driven to Think. I'm Ran. I hope you're fucking well. Be good.
I'm gonna die historic on the Butte Road.